This is sort of the first draft of history, as sort of ripped from the headlines as it can be here on cable news. But let me read more from this letter drafted by Danielle Sassoon, delivered to Pam Bondi. As Chris is saying, we don't know that Pam Bondi read it, but this is what Danielle Sassoon wrote. This is a footnote from her letter to the Attorney General. Quote, I attended a meeting on January 31st, 2025 with Mr. Bove, with Eric Adams' counsel, and members of my office. Eric Adams' attorneys repeatedly urged what amounted to a quid pro quo, indicating that Adams would be in a position to assist with the department's enforcement priorities only if the indictment were dismissed. Mr. Bove admonished a member of my team who took notes during that meeting and directed the collection of those notes at the meeting's conclusion. Andrew Weissman, there is a similar footnote in Volume 2 of Robert Mueller's obstruction volume where Don McGahn tells a story. Either he or his chief of staff, Annie Donaldson, tell a story to Mueller's investigators on the obstruction side about how Donald Trump didn't like lawyers who took notes. And he kept saying, why are you taking notes? What are you writing down? Why is that significant?
There is no reason in God's green earth for the person who is the Deputy Attorney General to say to federal prosecutors at a meeting that they cannot take notes and they need to, if they have, to collect them if there is nothing going on in that meeting that you're not embarrassed by. The normal rule, of course, that means we're not in, that doesn't apply now. The normal rule is you act as if everything will be on the front page of the Washington Post or the New York Times or on national TV. And if you have nothing, if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't worry about anyone memorializing what is going on. I should note that the other story that is breaking today also is about Emile Bove. We talked, and it's important to note this because we're talking about how disingenuous his memos are. His memo that said, I want to round up all these people at the FBI, and I fired the leadership at the FBI for participating in the January 6th investigation, which he describes as a national injustice. The reporting today is that Emile Bove, when he was back as a federal prosecutor, by the way, in what district? The Southern District of New York. When he was there, he himself participated in those investigations and was cheering them on. So you just for the audience, who is this person? I mean, this is somebody who is completely drunk the Kool-Aid and, you know, is being called out. And rightly, what you are seeing is, and again, it's great that Danielle Sassoon is a focal point for this, but it's important for people to know that it's not just her. She is supported by a whole range of people, both prosecutors and FBI agents, ones who are in the offices now, and people like Mimi, who are sort of expats, you know, who have graduated and see what's going on and say this is in violation of their oaths of office, and that is why they're not going to participate.